Yes, sir. We here. I know we here. Let's get it. It's going to be a great day today, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Richest Steve in Atlanta. I am your host, Stevie Steve, the richest Steve in Atlanta. Right now known as Steve Worldwide. Man, y'all, it is my final week. It's my final day in Eindhoven, in the Netherlands. I'll go back home tomorrow. Yes, I am excited. I'm very happy. I'm ready to be home. I'm ready to be home. It's been a long 4 weeks in the Netherlands. Y'all know I enjoyed myself. Had a real good time. You know, seeing the culture. Got to get thoroughly immersed in what's going on out here. I would say, you know, it's been pretty cool. But I will be glad to finally be back in America. You know, get back in the swing of things there. Just get back to being Steve. Anyway, y'all, today will be a good show, so make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Also, make sure y'all check out Hartfelt Conversations. We will be live tonight at 8 p.m. We actually are live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You feel me? That East Coast timing. Also, make sure y'all check out Steve versus the World. It is my new vlogging channel where you'll see basically, you know, some of the things I got into while I was here in the Netherlands, and I will continue to vlog and just keep going with that, y'all. Like I said, I'm trying to keep this a very busy year. I want to stay busy as all get out. I want to work harder this year, so I have a lot of stuff going on between my work, my extracurriculars, and everything I want to do. We just gonna stay busy overall. But y'all, like I said, we are gonna have a good show. So that's for real. We got Trump. He pulled up to the hood. Yes, he did. He pulled up to the hood in Detroit to talk to black people. We also have why it seems like everyone's so far ahead. When y'all know is that's not true. That's not true. And then we're gonna end it off with Jordan Peterson telling people, you know, you need to sacrifice for your future. And that is definitely important, especially with what us young people got going on today, in today's time and age. You know, we don't want to sacrifice. So that's Jordan Peterson coming and telling us what we need to sacrifice, because you got to sacrifice somewhere. We're going to get straight into this thing, so make sure that y'all like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And we're going to go, Trump pulled up to the hood in Detroit, Michigan. I think that is a great play for him. I think that's a good thing. He's going to the people where they are at. The people that he is reaching for, that's who he is going for. So, hey, I support that pretty much all the way. I think he's doing it right. Like they said somewhere, while he's going to the people where they're at, Biden is somewhere being a vegetable at a large event doing what he does. So that just is what it is. Hey, we're going to go ahead and get right on into this thing. Let's see what they got to say about Trump. Like I said, he pulled up to the hood. So he met people where they was at. Let's go.
We've done more for, and I say this, I say it proudly, more for the black population than any president since Abraham Lincoln. That's a big statement.
Is that true? Is that true?
And crooked Joe Biden has done nothing for you except talk. It's only talk. He's been the worst president for black people. Under Biden, real wages for African-American workers are down 6%. We lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty. Black Americans saw their largest increase in home ownership on record.
Former President Trump slamming Biden's record with black voters in Detroit as the two candidates are neck and neck in the key swing state. Our next guest joins us live from Detroit, where he spent a few hours with Trump at yesterday's event. It's Michigan Congressman John.
Before he goes, y'all know Trump be throwing out facts. And you got to fact check Trump, yo. You have to fact check, not just Trump. You have to fact check politicians. They all be lying about their stats. They don't lie about their stats. They twist their stats to fit into them. I don't know about the first fact, but I know his second one with the home ownership. Black home ownership has been going up year after year for decades at this point. So it going up during Trump, it's not surprised. It was going to happen no matter what. It's been on trend. Now, when a president actually has black home ownership go down, that's when we need to question that president. But yeah, they were doing the best when really the system has black people moving up and going to own more homes anyway. So y'all, you can't believe it. You can't believe it. You got to literally go by a lot of this stuff. How you feeling? What policies match with what you want? That's kind of how you got to do that. Because he twisted it. He's twisting it. He's twisting it. It's true, but the way he, saying that it, trust me, it kept going up. Even with Biden, we still, black home ownership is at an all-time high. And trust me, Biden probably will say that. Biden will probably say that. But it was at an all-time high during Trump. It was at an all-time high during Obama. On and on and on and on. It's just always going to be at an all-time high because that's just the way that black people are progressing as a whole. So, yeah.
James, who joins us now. Congressman, thanks for being with us.
Hey, thanks for having me back on.
You bet. You hear Trump's message to the black voter. We see some polling suggests he's really starting to resonate to some extent with the black voter. What do you think about that in Detroit as a possible effect for the way we see Michigan go in November?
And look, in 2016, Donald Trump came into Detroit and asked black Detroiters what we had to lose. 8 years later, Joe Biden has shown us. President Trump came back to the hood with the receipts. He went back in, he talked about rising crime. He talked about rising interest rates. He talked about rising inflation. All things that hurt black Americans the most, hurt all Americans, but hurt black Americans the most. And Pastor Sewell, I think, made a very appropriate point that President Trump was in the neighborhoods. Joe Biden goes to a big special dinner at the NAACP, and I'm not even sure President Obama even visited the neighborhoods in Detroit. But yeah. President Trump once again is showing up. Republicans are showing up, not just with FaceTime, but with better policies than the Democrats.
Well, this is what you're referring to. Lorenzo Sewell, the senior pastor.
See, I'm telling y'all, it's a difference. Like right now, I feel like there is definitely a shift within the black community going on. We aren't as sheepy as we used to be, I feel like. Because, we automatically, I think the Republicans feel like they have a chance with black people now. That's what I think. I think they feel like they have a chance with black people, which this isn't the first time they felt this way. The civil rights, that was a bipartisan thing. People don't want to say that too much, but it was bipartisan, which means that Democrats and Republicans had something to do with that. But I feel like right now they feel like they have a chance with black people, and that's why they're putting the extra effort into actually meeting with the black community, seeing what the black community needs, checking in on us, seeing that, because they see the opportunity with that. And that's I feel like the power we have when we just don't give it all away from the jump. We just don't give it all away from the jump. So now you have President Trump coming to the poor black community, or the black community that isn't doing as well. They say he's going to the hood. If he's in the hood, the poor black community, to speak to them, to let them know that I want your vote. Come vote for me. Like he said, hey, you might as well try me. And then Buddy said, hey, 8 years later, the first time he said, you might as well try me. Now 8 years later, he ain't saying you might as well try me. He's saying you done seen now why you need to vote for me. Like he said, while Trump was down there with the people, where was Joe? Probably being a vegetable, just like in his Juneteenth video. I know y'all seen that Juneteenth video. That video was horrible. This is why we don't need him. These two are old. I think that's my biggest complaint with Joe Biden right now, is that he is old. And I just feel like, something's going to happen to him and Kamala's going to be president. Not like we voted for her, but that she'll end up being president. Because even at the NCAA thing, I know President Obama was there. He had to walk Joe Biden off the stage. Joe Biden froze on stage. He always freezing. I just wouldn't. That ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't what we need as president to represent the United States. You know, the biggest power in the world. And our president can't even walk off a stage alone. Come on, y'all. Come on. I just don't understand why we even entertain this mess. Why do we even entertain this? Like, we just letting it happen. It's okay.
180 Church said this about Obama and Biden.
President Trump, I'm so humbled that you would be here. President Obama never came to the hood, so to speak, right? President Joe Biden, he went to the big NAACP dinner, but he never came to the hood. So thank you.
You know, the thing is, though, Congressman, on one hand, you see this outrage. On the other, this outreach, you will see a ton of messaging fed to say, in some way or another, yeah, but Republicans are racist.
Well, you know, these are their talking points because Democrats refuse to take accountability for the fact that African Americans have been doing worse decade after decade after decade after the Great Society. Democrats and frankly, have been failing African Americans, but we can't just point the finger at Democrats. Republicans have refused to go into cities and to campuses all over the country. And we have to do what the original Republicans did, march down into where people are being oppressed. Then in the slavery times, it was oppression of the body, physical bondage. Now we have the obligation to go in and have an alternative suggestion, alternative ideas, and give people the opportunity to be free from the mental bondage that Democrats have over. I absolutely believe that if 95% of African Americans continue to vote for one party, then neither party is going to have to work for the vote. In the past, Republicans have ignored the black vote because we don't think we can get it. Democrats have neglected it, but that is changing with President Trump. We are making the case, we are showing up, and people are beginning to take notice. And Donald Trump is tied in the state of Michigan because this is a real race. It's not just about black and white. It's not even about red and blue. It's about have and have-nots. And Democrats are making excuses, and Michigan is the center of the universe in 2024.
Really fascinating.
I think he just said some stuff. I think he just said some truth. He's not lying about that. He's not lying. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, it's finally like we're getting to a place where we see the danger of a two-party system, and then first it's a two-party system, then you put all your eggs on one side. It's like, well, we don't have to do anything for you because we already got your vote. So we already have your vote. Let's be real. They're racist over there. Why are you even going to go over there? You know, you might not get anything over here, but at least you're not going to get racism. And then on the other half, it's, well, we already know we ain't going to get you, so you don't even got to get anything from us. You know, like, you're not going to get nothing. So black people have constantly been getting nothing for years because why? Why do you even, no party has to do anything because nothing's going to change. But we're finally at a point where black people are like, who's going to help us? Who's going to help us? Who's going to push the agenda that we want? Who's going to push the policies that we want to see in our communities? That's what matters. That's what matters. It's not really with this two-party presidents thing. It's always going to be give and take with whatever you do. Like, let's not act like Obama was just the perfect president. Just because he was black does not mean he was the perfect president. And that goes with any president. No president is going to be perfect. I don't care what you say. You're going to agree with some and you're going to disagree with others. So now it's like, I'm to a point where I'm old enough. I see this. You know, I voted like twice for presidency. So now I'm at a point where it's like, I really need to sit down and look at where I see my future going and what policies are going to be implemented in the next cycle that will help me get there. That's my biggest thing. And if you're doing the extra things to get me there, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that you're going the extra length to try to pick me up and get me on board with what you have going. And that's what I feel like the Democrats are definitely missing out on. Like I don't feel like they're trying at all. Like I said, they're still running with Biden. And it's supposed to be a presidential debate going on in July, and then we'll see. Then for sure we'll see. Because if Biden can't hang on out there, then boy, I don't think it's going to be good. I don't think it's going to be good. If Biden can't hang on out there, it is not going to be good. But he definitely told telling some truth right there. Telling some truth. And I appreciate that truth. Let's keep this thing rolling.
Way to say it, to transition from physical bondage into modern day mental bondage. You also said this on X in honor of Father's Day. You tweeted the following: "My dad couldn't attend college across the street from his house because he is black. Today, his grandson, his namesake, sat on the dais with me on the most powerful committee in Congress. God bless America. Still the only nation where a family can go from emancipation to energy and commerce in just a few generations." Pretty incredible.
It is pretty incredible. We're blessed to be Americans, and so we have an obligation, as dads in particular, to make sure we pass on that blessing of freedom and liberty to future generations. I had the opportunity, as the first freshman since 2011, to be on Energy and Commerce Committee, to bring my son to speak on the remarkable healthcare legislation that we got passed through committee last week. And I was only able to do that by the grace of God and a strong father who protected us, provided for us, and showed us that even though this nation has warts, we have an obligation to pursue a more perfect union. And by teaching my son that he has a personal responsibility to give back to this great country is a part of my job as a dad. My father's is a combat veteran, a Vietnam veteran. I'm a global war on terror veteran, and graduating from West Point, I recognize that my father never wanted me to follow in his footsteps. He wanted me to be better, and I think that's the wish that every father has for their sons, for them to be better. So, with that being said, thank you, Dad. I love you. Happy Father's Day, and in particular, for all the people in my district, in the Brooklands area in particular, who were affected by this psychopath who went on a rampage yesterday at the splash pad. Mm-hmm. My hearts are with you, as no father should spend Father's Day in a place this never happens again. Father's Day.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmer.
Well, that was the end of that. Like you said, he ended off with Happy Father's Day. I don't usually watch the videos all the way through when I start, so I didn't know that he went into Father's Day. But yeah, Trump is definitely meeting people. I think the Republicans, they have a great plan that they are following right now to get the black vote. And I think as time goes on and everything just keeps progressing and he keeps coming to the hood, I think Trump is fighting back right now. Like, yeah, he lost the last one. He is fighting back right now. And I feel like the Democrats just feel like they have it won. Like, they're not trying at all. I just don't see it. I don't see the tryingness in this, Trump's always in the news for something. They can say it's bad, but it is publicity at its finest. I will say that. It's publicity at its finest. So if y'all with me, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know if y'all think Trump's plan to go to all the hoods and be in the hood is working out for him, Like some fellow black folks said, hey, he coming, that mugshot photo, I got a mugshot too. That's what black folks were saying. So that's crazy. We gonna go ahead and move right on into our next topic. Why do people look so rich? I personally, I just think like behind the mask. You do not know the things behind the mask. Yes, that person looks like they're on vacation having a great time, but they just worked 5 Saturdays in a row to afford to go on that vacation. Now you over there jealous because they out of the country living the life or having a good time while you're sitting at home, but you didn't know that they had to work 5 Saturdays of doing DoorDash to be able to be there. And you don't want to do the 5 weeks of DoorDash. Let's be real, especially on your Saturday. You didn't want to do that. So being jealous of people is for no reason. Let people do them and enjoy themselves. And usually, a lot of people, they're splurging on stuff that they can't just straight up afford. They might have spent money. They didn't spend their money. They got that credit card. They got that credit card, y'all. Swipe that credit card. Picked up a lot of debt. They paying 25% every month on that vacation that they just bought. But you jealous of them because you ain't doing that. You know, you over there trying to stay down. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Yeah, but why does everyone look so rich? And we have a nice young lady here. She's going to explain to us some reasons that will hopefully help a lot of people to let us know that you are not behind. Everybody just seems like they have more than they actually have. So let's get at it.
After more than a decade immersed in finance, from a finance degree and an accountancy qualification to spending 9 years in banking, one of the best skills I learned was how to spot the true markers of wealth. So in this video, I wanted to share with you 6 eye-opening reasons why you might feel like you're always playing catch up with your finances. We'll dive into the truth behind that feeling and, most importantly, how to use that feeling to your advantage. Let's get into it. Number 1, you're making upward comparisons. There's upward comparisons where we look at people who seem to have more. They might have more money, a fancier car, a more luxurious lifestyle. And then there's downward comparison where we compare ourselves to people who appear less fortunate or successful. We as humans, and I admit to this too, find it so much easier and we're naturally wired to compare upwards. But here's the thing. A lot of what we see when we look up is just an illusion. And the financial more that looks so enticing is usually carefully curated. Many people use tools and structures that make their lives and finances look far more impressive than they really are. For instance, say you and a friend both decide to budget $500 a month for your cars. You choose to buy a decent mid-range car on a 5-year finance. By the end of those 5 years, you would have paid off the car and it's yours, valued at around $20,000. On the other hand, your friend leases a car for the same $500 a month. Their car looks much nicer, and for 36 months, they get to drive around a new shiny car. But once the lease is up, they've spent $18,000 and have to return the car with nothing to show for it. Same concept applies to credit card debt. In the UK, 38% of people carry credit card debt, and in the US, it's about 44%. Many of these people fall under the debt revolver category, meaning they only make the minimum payments on their credit card balances each month. The debt keeps rolling over month after month, making it a cycle that's hard to break as they continue spending. Debt is one way of creating a facade of wealth. It's easy to look at someone else's shiny new stuff and feel like they're ahead, but often it's actually an illusion of them living beyond their means. The comparisons that really matter are with those who look at investing for their future. Look at people who put their money into personal growth, education, skills. These investments might not be as flashy or visible, but they increase a person's future value and reduce their future obligations. It's a more grounded and fulfilling approach to personal finance. Number 2.
Hey, y'all. Upward comparisons. That's what you're doing. That's literally what I was just explaining. Your upward comparisons are your downfall. Stop comparing upwards, man. Compare to the people that's on your level right now. And you want to get to another level, though. You want to make sure you're getting to another level. Upward comparison, honestly, comparison at all it's ruining what you have anyway. I don't like to compare it to anyone. Like, no, I'm not comparing my apples with your oranges. You know, I can't. An apple is different from an orange. I might not like that orange. You feel me? It's not going to happen. It's not going to, like, it's like I could have an apple. I don't like the skin of an apple. An orange, I don't like to peel an orange. Both of them, when you eat them though, they taste good. But come on, there's something about each side that ain't the best. So the comparison is the thief of your joy. Like it's killing it. It's killing everything that you have. So that comparison, it has to stop. And she gave two great examples. Like the car example. Yeah, they got a 5 car. They leasing it for 3 years. They got nothing from it other than the looks from it. It looks great. While you got a regular car, and at the end of it, you own it. You do all those things. Come on, man. But in both of those situations, that's an apple to an orange. That person might have strategic value, strategic play, a strategic plan that's set. That's why they're leasing. While you have yours as well on this side, while you're doing what you're doing. Stop comparing, y'all. Just stop that joint altogether. I hate when people try to compare stuff. No, because what I got, I enjoy what I have. It's for me. It's for me. What you have, it's for you. Trust me, it's for you.
You don't know what you stand for. We compare ourselves more often when we don't know what we stand for. Although we're talking about finances, this applies to every aspect of your life. If you're constantly focused on what other people have, what they're doing, you're always going to feel like you're falling behind. And I'll give you an example. When I was about to quit my job, at the time, all of my closest friends were climbing up the corporate ladder, getting promoted, or pushing for middle management roles. A lot of them were buying their forever homes as they were stepping into the next chapter of their lives, whereas I was taking a huge step back. I decided to completely change what I was doing to study, learn, grow in a completely different direction. And although part of me was really scared, I didn't feel at all like I was missing out. I knew that the direction I was going in was going to make me so much happier. And in hindsight, I was 100% right. Because now I get to do this every day. Whereas in a parallel world, had I let that comparison control me and not known what I truly value and what matters to me, I'd be in a completely different place. Far less fulfilling for me. When it comes to your finances, knowing what you stand for and forming your own perspective is unbelievably important, because if you don't align your spending with what truly makes you happy, you're always going to feel like you're lagging behind. You might find that you have joy in getting the latest upgrades or design clothes, and that's perfectly fine. Or like me, you might find more value in experiences like travel, investing in learning, starting a business. I might not have the newest phone or the trendiest wardrobe, but I'm content because my spending reflects what matters to me. And that doesn't mean I'm locked into these choices forever. I can always change my mind and realign with new values. You might not have everything that your peers do, but you'll have what you genuinely value, and that's far more fulfilling.
You need to worry about yourself, is what I just heard for her. Because what you have for you is for you, while other people, it's for them. I love that she used an example of like career, because you will see your friends moving up into different positions. They'll be making more money. They'll be, grinding harder. They might have something that they're not doing as much. But like she said, for her, if she would have sat there and been worried about what everyone else was doing, she wouldn't have found what she wanted to do. Oh, they the manager now. Like, gosh, Lee. And I'm just now going to school. Gosh, Lee. I don't think I need to be going to school because they're so far. Stop worrying about what other people are doing, and what do you want? What do you want with your life? What do you want to do with you is literally the thing. If you want to go back to school so that you can be happier in the job that you're doing or going after another career, that's what you need to do. Don't be worried about what other people got going on. Don't worry about it. Literally, it do what you need to do first. And also, like she said, I like how she hit it with the financial part as well. There are things that I enjoy that other people don't enjoy. Like for me, I went and got me a car. Somebody might go and get them a house. Our need and necessities, totally different. Totally different. I don't need a house right now. I have a perfectly fine house that I stay at. It's a family home. I'm not paying a lot in rent. I'm not paying a lot on the mortgage. I'm not paying a lot in utilities. None of that. So while I might go say, okay, let me go get a nice car. Somebody else, they might have a car that gets them from point A to B. They're good. Their car works. Okay, but they need a home to live in. So now they would go and get a home. If I'm over here with my car jealous at a person because they got their home, I need to worry about what's important to me. Like, that is the biggest thing. Like, worry about what is important to you. Gosh.
Number 3, you aren't learning. This concept is my favorite on the list because transforming how I compare myself to others has been life-changing. Instead of letting the question, why does this person make more money, bring me down, I ask, how are they achieving this? This shift turns envy into curiosity and growth. We often think others have it all figured out, especially when they seem wealthier or more successful. And it's easy to believe that they're just lucky or they have advantages that we don't. For years, I was skeptical about people making money online. I couldn't see how it was possible to make a living from it. But my perspective completely changed when I started learning and actually speaking to these same people. I learned they weren't just creating content. They were building brands, connecting deeply with their audience, diversifying their income streams. They were thinking outside the box in ways that I had never considered. And this is something that comparison can only offer when viewed through the lens of learning and growth. And the same goes through investing. When I talk about investing or an 8% return, a lot of the comments are like, how do you get an 8% return? No bank is paying 8% interest at the moment. You're right, it's not. But I'm not talking about keeping your money in a bank account. The S&P 500 has returned on average over 10% over the last 100 years. Across any 20-year holding period, the annual return has always been at least 4%, apart from during the worst market crash in history. And in 79% of the time, the annual return was 8% or more. And in 59% of instances, that annual return was 10% or more. When you just take some time to learn about what someone else is saying and where it's coming from, and understand how they're getting there, your perspective and your growth trajectory completely changes. By the way, if you do want to feel less stressed and more confident with your finances than ever before, I'm hosting a completely free masterclass. We cover where you need.
I'm not gonna lie, y'all. That last one was some heat. She just put folks on some game right there. I think that last one was some heat. While you scrolling through Instagram and Twitter and you see that person traveling every so-and-so to this place, that place, instead of hating, ask them, hey, yo, what you do? How you able to travel all the time? Man, I see you here and there. You everywhere. What you be doing? What you be doing? Man, I seen you with that scat pack. What you doing? In Atlanta, you might not want to ask them that. They gonna tell you, man, I be scamming. In Atlanta, you already know what they doing. You ask them for something, man, I seen you with that scat, that Hellcat. What you doing? He gonna tell you, man, I'm a scammer. That's how you get what I got. But nah, for real though, asking people, it definitely, help out. Hey, bro, I just seen you got a raise at your job. Or you just got a promotion. How that work out? What you do? Oh, okay. That could help me out. Instead of being jealous of the person who got a raise at your job, hey bro, you just got a raise. How you get that? What you had to do to get a raise? Because I'm looking to get a raise too. So I just need to know what's expected. Instead of having envy and hate towards people, just asking them for advice or help on how to make that situation happen for you, that's 10 times better. That's way better than being negative, I feel like. I would love, if I know somebody right now on my group, in my job, they get a raise, like a major raise. Yo, what you do? I'm trying to do exactly what you did, because I want that raise too. And shoot, I might find out that, never mind, I don't want to do what you did to get that raise. I'm good where I'm at. Who knows? But that was a learn instead of hate. I need to start using that. Man, they done got the newest clothes. They got the fire shoes. Bro, how you always got them fire shoes? What you do to get that? Like I said, in Atlanta, though, they'll tell you, man, I worked at Foot Locker, and that's why I got the shoes. That might not be what I want. Or they gonna tell you they a scammer. Scamming, get you that money. Telling you, in Atlanta for sure.
Forgetting the trade-offs. Have you ever looked at someone else's success and thought, wow, they really have it all? I know I have, and it's so easy to see someone thriving and assume they've got everything perfectly sorted out. But we often don't see the personal sacrifices they've made to get there, or the ones that they're still making to keep it all together. We miss the late nights, the missed family moments, the doubts they've had to overcome. Take spending habits as an example. You might see someone jetting off to an exotic location and wonder, how can they afford that? What you don't see are the sacrifices they're making elsewhere to be able to afford that. Perhaps they live in a modest home, they drive an older car, they skip out on new clothes because traveling is the thing that brings them joy. When you get to know people better, or you look at their lives holistically, you often realize that their sacrifices might not be the ones that you'd want to make. Understanding this helps you stop comparing your best moments to theirs because you recognize that their struggles might be incomparable to your own. Number 5.
Hey, I told y'all. She hitting this marks 100%. I've been told y'all. Some of the things that people do to get what they want, you're not willing to do. Let's be real. That's just it. It's not even that. Sometimes the grass is not greener over there like you think it is. It just isn't. Like she said, they're sacrificing in other places in life. I know some person, they may travel. Traveling is a part of their rich lifestyle. While going out to eat with their friends, going to brunch in Atlanta is not their lifestyle. So you're not going to see them going out to brunch. While you might enjoy going out to brunch every weekend. So instead of saving up for a vacation, you going to brunch. Are you willing to sacrifice your brunch time with your friends? Doing your hookah, doing your hot girl, hot boy in the streets, are you willing to sacrifice that to go on vacation like the other person? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. You don't know what them struggles is on the other side. I'm telling y'all, it is struggles on the other side.
If you're following the wrong sea, when it feels like everyone around you is more successful or has more money, it's easy to fall into a trap of competition. But collaboration can take you so much further than competition ever will. I've been working on something, a personal project, for about 4 months now, and I'd almost finished it when a friend told me about a similar project that she had just seen launched online. When I checked it out, my heart sank. I felt deflated, thinking I'd spent all this time and now I have to compete with someone else who has already done it and launched and had elements of it that were better than mine and I couldn't replicate. I could have just treated this as competition, but instead I emailed the founder, told him what I do, gave him a high-level overview of my idea and how I think we could collaborate. And now we're working on a new product that combines both of our ideas and execution in one. And this really taught me that collaboration can open doors you never knew existed. Many people are willing to let their guard down if you approach them with a genuine interest and a collaborative spirit. It often just takes one person to break the ice and to set aside the ego and the pride. And the other person usually responds in the same way, realizing that you're not out to compete, but to build something better together. Number 6.
Collaboration over competition. That's it. I like that one too. That's the same one to me as her other hard-hitting one, but I feel that. Sometimes it comes from a spirit of competition. Like, oh no, I have to be doing better than them. When in reality, you don't have to be doing better than them. Y'all could collab. And I see this all the time, like in the YouTube space. Y'all know I got a podcast, Hartfelt Conversations, every Thursday live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all tap into that. It's a lot of other people who have podcasts, y'all. And I can look at their podcast could be doing better. I can look at their podcast could be doing worse. It doesn't matter. But in the long run, I want their podcast to do better because who knows what we could do in the future. Who knows what collaborations we could have in the future that would honestly rock the world. It will rock everything. So I want you to do good. Yes, I do. I want you to in the spirit of collaboration. There's no competition out here. It's plenty out here for everybody. plenty. So let's collab and let's get this money together. Like let's do it together instead of having competition tearing each other down. Let's be real.
You haven't focused on you for a while. When was the last time you truly looked at your spending and asked if it makes you happy? It's easy to get caught up in tracking budgets and controlling expenses, especially if you've been following my videos. You're clearly dedicated to getting your finances on order. But in the process, you might have forgotten to spend on the things that bring you joy. Part of the journey in getting your finances together is also about enjoying the fruits of your labor. When you make room for spending on what genuinely makes you happy, you start to appreciate your financial decisions more. And when you're building your own financial confidence and you're so focused on your own path, you won't have time to envy other people or even compare to other people. So this weekend, take a moment for yourself. Treat yourself to something that brings you happiness, whether it's a nice meal, indulging in a hobby that you love, a small treat, or even sitting down to thoughtfully track your expenses for the month. Let it be something that enriches your life. This way you'll find more joy in your own journey and less need to compare yourself to others. Thank you for watching. If you found this useful.
Yeah, she did the thing with this video, y'all. She did the thing with that video. That video was honestly A1. That's a Steve promoted video. I like how on the last thumbnail, she spoke to, I would say that's the audience, that, you know, the people who they're on their financial journey, they're doing all the right things. And this is also a reason why I like Ramit. She spoke on the, you know, you're so focused on thinking that you're doing the right thing that you're upset with other people for doing what they're doing. You think they're so far, you're getting jealous of what they're doing because you're not enjoying what you're doing. Let's be real. I personally don't want to live the frugal lifestyle. I want to live a rich lifestyle that's for Steve. Shout out Ramit. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be out here like, nah, I can't do that. And it's something that I want to do. I'm willing to throw the things away that I don't care about, you know, for the things that I do. But as being somebody in this community, when you get in, it's like, all right, I'm cutting out everything. This is the Dave Ramsey method as well, y'all. I'm cutting out everything to reach my financial goals. There will be no fun. There's nothing enjoyable about life. I need to eat rice and beans and rice until I get myself perfect financially. I have to be perfect financially. And that's why that's why you're hating on people. That's why you can't understand why they going on vacation enjoying themselves while you're over here trying to do what you do. That just is what it is. So she spoke to the people. You have to enjoy a little bit of your money along the way, because the journey is what matters. You know, if the journey ain't really helping you, you know, you're not enjoying the process of the journey that it's taking you. It's not always going to be peaches and roses now, but the journey has to be taking you somewhere, and you need to enjoy it. You got to enjoy it, y'all. Yeah, she was on point. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, and leave a comment as we're going to go ahead and roll right into our last topic of the day. By Jordan Peterson, y'all, too. Y'all know I actually, Jordan Peterson, he talks very wise and all that stuff. I think that's why a lot of people likes him. You know, he uses a lot of big words. He's sophisticated, but he gives off that vibe. You know, it's not like, I don't feel like he's talking to people with his sophistication to talk down on people like, you don't know what this word is. He seems like he's genuinely trying to better the world and do things like that. But he's talking about sacrificing now for your future. I was honestly surprised when I seen this, because I was like, oh snap, this is actually something, you know, that I rock with. My friends actually, they just started a podcast and they was having a conversation that I feel like really Jordan Peterson just hit perfectly, but I wanted to go ahead and spill. So the question they asked was, doing something you don't enjoy and able to get to where you need to go. I personally believe that you need to sacrifice now for your future. That may mean doing a job that you don't too much care for in order to get to where you need to be at. I feel like that's a sacrifice that I personally would make. Even in my own life, I enjoy my job, y'all. I enjoy my job. It allows me to do a lot of things. But to just think that it's all peaches and cream is beyond, it would be beyond me. If you think it's easy to go on the road for 5 weeks being away from home, but you would see me, oh, he's doing this. He went skydiving. He has to be having a great time. While behind the scenes, I'm sacrificing. I'm not at home for over a month. I'm over here working overtime. I'm putting in that work, doing hard work. Those aren't the things that I enjoy. I don't enjoy working 12-hour days. I don't enjoy being away from home for 5 weeks. Like, being away from my family and loved ones, my family and friends. Like, it's not enjoyable, but it's something I'm willing to sacrifice so that I can do the things that I enjoy. That job, when I sacrifice and I do it, it allows me to pay for this mic. It allows me to pay for this ring light. It allows me to pay for this MacBook that I'm using to stream from. And it needs to allow me to pay for some internet connection. That's what I need to figure out next. So it's going to allow me to continue chasing my personal dreams. And that's the sacrifice that I think that a lot of people aren't willing to do. You know, you're chasing your dream, yes, but you don't have a lifestyle that even you can even put towards that thing. That's like people who make music, but you don't have enough money to fund making music. Sounds like a lot of people I know. I ain't gonna lie. It's tough. Making music is expensive. So you got this big dream of being a rapper, but you don't got no money to put into it. And that happens with a lot of people's dream. You may have a dream of being a baker, opening up your own shop, but you don't have the money to even start. Don't have the money to even start. So maybe you need to sacrifice and get a job. That way that you can actually afford to chase your dreams. That's how I feel. But we're going to go ahead and get right on into Jordan Peterson and see what he has to say about sacrificing for your future. Let's get it.
People say, well, I have to do what I hate because I have to struggle forward in life. I don't like my job, but I have to do it. And I understand that, because the fundamental condition of mankind is one of essential privation, right? I mean, without food, we starve, and food doesn't just make itself manifest of its own accord. Without shelter, we freeze or we burn. Without water, we die of thirst. And it takes effort to provide that, and it takes communication and cooperation and competition and sacrifice. And sacrifice, that's work. There's no difference, by the way. This is a good key if you ever dip into biblical writings, for example. There's no difference between sacrifice and work. They're the same thing. The idea that God is pleased by sacrifice is the same idea as if you work hard, things will get better. It's the precursor to that more secular formulation. Are there sacrifices that please God? Well, what does that mean? It means, are there things you could do now that would put the future right? And the answer is, well, if you work, you say yes, because what you're doing when you're working is sacrificing the momentary pleasures of the present for something approximating medium to long-term survival. And it's not like that's going to make you happy necessarily, although it might keep you alive, which arguably is better than being happy. Happy for a brief while, then dead is not a very good story. That's the story of someone too radically hedonistic and impulsive. And so human beings, we can apprehend ourselves across time, right? We know that you bear a responsibility for who you are right now, and maybe to be happy as you can be in the moment, let's say, or at least as free from catastrophic anxiety and anger and depression as you might be. But that's not good enough, because you have to take account of yourself tomorrow and next week and next month and next year, right? You become an adult. You live across the decades, certainly the years, perhaps the decades, and you have to govern your behavior in the present in the knowledge of your future, with the heavy knowledge of your future self at hand. And if you have any sense, and we do from time to time have some sense, you don't compromise who you're going to be in a month for who you are right now, and maybe you don't compromise who you're going to be when you retire for who you are right now when you're 30. You have to take that expansive view, which includes you iterating across time, right? You have to treat yourself like you're a community in time. Each person is a community in time. And so the biblical injunction, which is treat your neighbor as you would like to be treated, is a reflection of the fundamental fact that there is actually no difference in the truest sense between establishing productive, generous harmony, reciprocal harmony with other people, and treating yourself properly. It's the same rule set. It's the same rule set, and by necessity. And that's not arbitrary. It has nothing to do with like a relative morality. There aren't other ways of going about it. Given that you're going to exist across time, you have to bind your actions in the present by that knowledge. I suppose you could eliminate the necessity of that by sacrificing your consciousness, right? Your self-consciousness, your apprehension of your vulnerability across time. And by the way, that's exactly what you do if you drink alcohol, right? Because alcohol does exactly that. It delimits the effect of the future on your present behavior. And that can be Dionysian level of fun. But there's tomorrow. And that's the problem. And it's not just tomorrow. It's tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. And then it's all the other people around you too, and that's the same problem. And so you're constrained or regulated in your action by the necessity of sacrificing the present, not completely, but sacrificing the present for the future. And that's the discovery of work. It's what separates, one of the things that separates human beings from animals is that we have to do that. And it's better to do that, even though it's not easy, and even though maybe you have to do things you hate. Well, then we can let's delve into that a bit. You have to toil. When God kicks Adam and Eve out of paradise for the sin of pride, essentially, he tells Adam, you're going to have to toil in the dirt, and it'll feed you, but you'll generate thorns, and you'll sacrifice and sweat and struggle. And that's definitely life. And so you might say, well, that's hateful. And look, subsistence level farming, let's say, how people lived for generations, just hand to mouth, barely scraping by. That can be pretty damn brutal. But it does still beg the question, even when you're struggling, are there ways that you can struggle that make things maybe not even merely bearable, although that would be a start, but maybe acceptable, and then maybe beyond that, joyful, if you could manage it?
Yo, Jordan speaks crazy to me. Like, he has so many things. I have to rewatch him to catch half the stuff that he says. Because honestly, yeah, I think he's good at getting his point across. But like he said, we are sent here to toil, to sacrifice. And life is all about what you're willing to sacrifice. What are you willing to give up now for your future? And are you willing to sacrifice working in this field so that you can bear fruit? That's the question you got to ask yourself. I feel like today's show is all encompassing on how I feel about how I feel this year is going, and that is hard work. Working harder, sacrificing more, putting in more effort to get the things that I want. So we're going to work hard on that. We're going to sacrifice. We for sure. All that stuff. That's what we want. I know I have dreams. I have aspirations. I want to be I want to have a net worth of $1 million by 30, which means I need to sacrifice now. I need to toil. I need to work in the field in order to achieve my dreams. That just is what it is. And we all have to, that's the curse we all have to face. What are you willing to sacrifice to get what you want? Come on, Jordan, go on and end us out.
Those of you who've worked in working class jobs, brutal, difficult working class jobs, you know that if you get the camaraderie right, that's a big plus, And then the fact that you're toiling and suffering together can produce a kind of transcendence. It's that part of the reason the relationships can become so deep, this often happens with military personnel, is because the challenge is so great, and the shared identity of confronting that challenge together can produce a social revelation that is compensation for the catastrophe. And so even if things are difficult, the question still remains, what could you do better to make this better? And then we might say too, do not do what you hate. Well, you have to discipline yourself. And that means you have to put yourself in harness, and you might strive against that, like a horse that's being broken, and you might say, well, what a catastrophe to break a horse, or to train a dog to pull a sledge, but we have to be disciplined, and to do that you have to subject yourself to strictures and constraints, and you have to play by the rules. And I suppose, as Nietzsche pointed out, you waste a lot of yourself doing that, by adopting some regulated and disciplined structure. Maybe that's your job, or one relationship instead of many. It's a narrowing and a limiting, but at the same time, it's a fostering of your ability to concentrate with single-minded intensity and purpose on an actual goal instead of a hypothetical plethora of goals. And there's no difference between that and being mature. And being mature is better than being a child, even though we seem to have forgotten that in our culture. Now, there's a step beyond that even, where the injunction is to leave childhood and to become mature, and then to rediscover what you lost in childhood. And maybe that's something like the spirit of play and that open-eyed amazement that children naturally bring to the world. And if you can incorporate that back into your psyche once you've become mature and disciplined, well, then you get to have your cake and eat it too. And that's something that's in principle worth striving for. And I say you get a glimpse of that, when at the end of a difficult day, maybe you go to the local country music bar and there's a hot band playing, and you get a chance to dance with someone you love, and you get to play, and you think, and all the notes are stacked on top of each other perfectly, reflecting the intrinsic harmony of the world itself, and you align yourself with that. You do that with someone you love, and you get that spirit of play infusing you, because in some sense you were disciplined enough to make the money that allowed you to afford to go to the damn bar, And so that's not such a bad deal, and it's at least a glimpse of the way things could be if you really got your act together, so that you were disciplined and aiming true and playful all at the same time. Even when dire circumstances confront you. And that's the sign of a real master, you know, and that's a receding ideal. I mean, who could claim to have managed that? But I can't see that you have anything better to do.
Jordan Peterson, y'all, with the beauty of sacrifice. I think sacrifice is a must. I think sacrifice is a great thing. I'm glad that we get to sacrifice because it makes the things that we have a lot more better. I feel like, you know, like those rich kids who got it all already and they're still miserable as all get out because they don't sacrifice for anything. They don't find joy in it. It's like, all right, I just have everything. Everything just comes to me. They have no struggle at all. Sacrifice allows you to enjoy the beauty of life. It does. It does. That's why we all need to sacrifice for our future. When you sacrifice by planting those seeds in the ground, planting seeds in the ground is work. Then you have to continue to water and take care of those seeds as they grow before they blossom, you know. And then it's just by the sacrifice you put in to get that end result. I feel like it's always worth it. It's always worth the sacrifice. I know people, they want to have it easy. You want to have it easy, you know. You want to complain. Even with politics, like you want somebody who's going to give it to you. You want somebody who's going to give you that handout. You don't want the person who you got to work for it. It's like that's why you're in the state that you're in now. You're just always giving stuff. As a person who's worked for everything that I have, you know, worked hard for it, I appreciate the struggles that I went through. I appreciate the struggle of going through school. Now, 5 years ago, I wouldn't have told you that. I'm tired of this. But the sacrifice, keeping my head down, grinding it out, and getting through school, sacrifice well worth it. So I think we all just need to sacrifice more, work harder, continue down that line, and our lives are there. If you keep working, it's going to get better. But at the same time, you need to sacrifice to get to where you need to go. And for some of y'all, you know, it looks different. It looks different. If you're with me, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment, y'all. Today was a good show. I enjoyed it. You know, we hit a lot of things. Trump in the hood, hey, he gonna be the hood's best friend. The hood might show up for him. The hood might show up for him. Now all they need to do is do like they do in the hood, create some shirts for him and wrap them around the hood, you know, like it's the 90s design and stuff. Hey, he do that, he might go up in the hood. Anyway, I think the best video today, though, was definitely by the lady where she just straight up got on everybody of why you need to stop looking at other people, what they got going on, and worry about yourself. And then we ended it off with Jordan Peterson telling y'all that y'all need to sacrifice for the beauty of life. Life is beautiful on the other side when you sacrifice it, man. If you with me, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment on your way out the door. Thank y'all for tapping in, man. I appreciate y'all for being here, watching my videos. We up from here, y'all. Peace, love, and riches. I'm out.